trabajamos juntos en el grupo de Enterprise, de venta de soluciones a empresas. Y bueno, pues está aquí con nosotros Sanjay, que es una de las personas, bueno, es la que más conoce las soluciones de geoposicionamiento en Europa, dentro de Google. Y lo que vamos a ver hoy es la solución de SketchUp. En los pliegos habéis visto que pone KML, ¿vale? Lo que vamos a hacer es, bueno, pues ahí está incorrecto, las sesiones sobre posicionamiento y 3Ds, ¿vale? Entonces, bueno, pues es la sesión que vamos a tratar hoy. Y bueno, pues aquí os dejo con Sanjay. Sanjay, were you speaking Spanish? Were you learning?
No.
No?
And it's a very good reason why I do not speak Spanish. When I was younger, I was given a choice, football or Spanish. I chose football, and I regret it now. But I am trying to learn Spanish, but I just cannot get to the lessons in time because Google keeps me so busy.
I can say that his Spanish football team is Barcelona. So.
Oh, you liar.
No?
Real Madrid.
No, he told me Real Madrid. Okay.
I have to leave this place in one place, so one piece. So. Okay. So, are we ready? Okay. I am going to show you how to use SketchUp, what it's all about, how it can, how quickly you could create 3D models, use Google Earth to put those models in Google Earth, add data to that in Google Earth, show it to your clients, make a business model out of that for you, share models in 3D Warehouse. It's a seamless process that if it's used correctly, there is a big business for you developers with all kinds of companies, for example, travel industry, putting a 3-dimensional hotel in Google Earth, showing clients what it looks like, allowing those people to actually book holidays from the data that's connected to the KML file in there. Okay. SketchUp is a very, very simple product. I always say you need 3 things for SketchUp. 1 finger, 1 mouse, and the gray matter in between your ears. Okay? You do not think about the software, you just draw. Okay? What you see on the screen is SketchUp complete. There is no other toolbars, no other ways of entering information. It's not like Macromedia with lots of boxes. It's not like CAD with lots of different dialog boxes. It works how you think. Okay, there is one box where you put information, and that information is in the bottom right-hand corner. It's actually here. This little box here. Okay. When you want to put information, you don't click, you just type. Okay. So, what we have here is a 2D plan view of the space. This little button here, which is the orbit tool, is the same as the middle button on a mouse. Okay. I can just select that and start creating and looking at my axis in 3D. Okay. Once I start drawing, you will understand how to orientate the product. So, give you an example how simple it is. I'm going to choose a rectangle, and I will draw one rectangle. At the bottom, it tells me what size that rectangle is. I'm not worried about working 1-to-1 scale. I just want to draw some. I can always go back afterwards and make everything real size. Okay. When I have this shape, if I wanted to make 3D, I just choose the push-pull tool. This is the most important tool in SketchUp because it works like you think. I am thinking now, this is flat, I want it to be this high. So here is this thing, here's push-pull, I want it to be this high. Okay, I can start playing with the 3D. Okay. If I use the move tool, I don't have to select anything, it automatically highlights. I can just select this edge, move it in. I can push that edge back in. I can change the shape of that. Okay. All these faces you see are just like another piece of paper. Just draw on top of them. I will draw a line from there to there. And use the push-pull tool, pull it down. I can push it in, pull it out. If I use my option key, we go, and then start playing with shape. Okay. If I draw a circle, if I pull it, oops, let's go back to this shape. If I pull it, it extrudes it. Okay. If I go the opposite way, it's a hole. Okay. I can then change that shape. So if I select that circle, I can move it. Okay. If I select its quadrant point, I can make it bigger or smaller. Okay. It works like you have a pencil. Just, I want it to be this big, this size. So, I'm going to use this tool now and actually draw a house, okay, a building. Okay. I warn you now, do not employ me as your architect. Okay. I will draw rectangular things, and they're pre-1980. It will actually tell you how old I am. Okay. I used to be a civil engineer, so everything was rectangular. Okay. So let's draw a house. Again, I do not know what size it's going to be. I just want to draw something. Okay, so I will start drawing a shape. Okay, I will say it's maybe this high. Okay, maybe it looks too thin. Just push it out a bit. I want a garage on the side. So I'll draw a garage. I'll make it about that big. I want to put a roof. Okay, so as you notice the red dot, that is selected a line. Blue dot, midpoint, endpoint. If I wanted to draw something parallel to something else, all I do is pick a point, say parallel to this, and just draw the line, and you'll see that. So I'm going to put a roof in here, midpoint to midpoint. I use my move tool, and I will just pull that line up. Okay. I don't want that to be straight. I will actually choose a fold line there, use my move tool again, and push that back. Okay. Let's put some detail here. Again, I want to draw a line from here, parallel to this line, vertically down from that point. There you go. It automatically refers to these points on the drawing, allowing you to carry on with your drawing, design. You don't think about the software. Okay. So far, using this much, I have maybe used 3 tools, 4 tools. Draw the shape, push the shape, move it, and line tool. Okay, and I've got a 3-dimensional shape there already. So I can take that shape and pull that out, put some detail in. Maybe I want to put a parapet wall. I will select that line, and that line, and use my offset. Maybe it needs to go a bit further down. Okay. All of these tools, you could program a shortcut on your keyboard. So you don't have to keep on going and selecting the icons. M for move, L for line, and so on. Okay. I'm just going to put a dimension on this building. It's actually 21.9 meters long. I want my house now to be 15 meters accurately. So I'll use my tape measure, and I will just measure from that point to that point and type in 15 meters. Okay. I have a house which is now 1:1. Okay. Let's put some more detail into this. I'm going to put a cover, coping cover on this wall. So I will draw a shape. I will put some curves into this because I can do that with SketchUp. I'm using my rubber tool. It's just like rubbing on a piece of paper. I don't need that. Okay, I could select it all. Okay, so I have that tool. I can use my push-pull tool and I can pull that, but I need to go that way as well on top of that wall. So rather than use my push-pull tool, I will use my follow-me tool. Okay, This tool will follow any line and create anything, any shape from that line. So here I'm going to follow that. I can follow up, across, and create any kind of shape I want. If I wanted to draw a nice curvy roof, very simple. Let's just draw a box. Okay. Let's draw the path I want. And maybe I need to put a line there. And now I need to put my shape. So I'll draw, oops, wrong line. From there to there. I'll choose that line. To copy a line, to copy actually any element, all I do is use my move tool, but this time I hold down my control key. You see that little plus? That will move a copy at the same time. So here I'm going to move that copy vertically down. Okay. And now all I will do is erase the bits I don't need. So once I've done that, actually I don't need that line. Okay. So now I can use my follow me tool and create the shape I want. If I want to put a hole in that roof, okay, draw the hole. So this is my hole. It's going to be rectangular. I will move that to where I want it. There. Right click and intersect. Okay. Now I can decide to erase the bits that I do not need. We won't, the software doesn't make the decision for you. It gives you the opportunity to erase elements that you do not require. So let's choose that, choose that, choose that. So I have my hole. Okay, I can change that if I wanted to. I could push it back, make alterations to that, and so on. So let's go back to my building. I have my 3D house. Okay, it doesn't look very clean, appetizing. It's very basic. I need to put more stuff into this. What about windows? Okay, so I'm going to draw a window. It's about that size. I'm happy with that. I will make it into a component. Okay, a component is like grouping the object. So when you change one, everything else changes when you use that. So I'm just going to make a component. I'm going to call it window. Okay, I have one, and now I want to put quite a few of them in that wall. I don't know how many at the moment, but I know I want more than one. So again, using the move tool, holding down the Alt key, I'm going to make a copy here. I've actually moved that copy 2.3 meters. Okay, let's make it 2.5. Let's make 3 of those. Actually, I need 4, but maybe I need them to be 3 meters. See, as I'm doing something, I'm actually thinking I need more than one, so I can just go straight into it and just type while I'm in that command. I do not have to think about, okay, what's the difference between this distance and this distance, calculate. I know that I need from one window from here to here, it's this distance, and I need more of those. Can it fit into that space? Okay. So I have that window. I will now add more detail to that. If I double click the window, notice everything else sort of goes gray outside. That means that I'm actually working inside an object, a component. I can still use that component geometry outside and draw and relate things to it. Okay. But here, I just want to work in this window. So what I'm going to do is put a window frame. Okay, I will push that back a bit. I will pull that up. Okay, I will go to my materials, and I will choose transparent material, and I will add that to that. You can see inside the building now, yes? Okay. Okay? All my windows change at the same time. Okay? If I want this window and this window to be different, okay, I can make them unique. And now I'll just work on this building, this window. So I'll put a line there and a line there, and I'll make that bigger. Okay, I will go in and choose stone, and maybe add that stone to that. And I have those two windows which are different. So when you're looking at this view, I am actually looking at this view as a shaded model with textures. We have different ways of looking at this model here. We can have just simple, simple hidden line, no colors. We can have textures. This is with no textures. Well, actually, there is textures there, as you can see. Or I can actually change those to any kind of line type I actually want. So let's go into my display. It's disappeared. Styles, actually. So I have a model there. If I choose that style, it changes into like a pencil drawing. Okay, I can create any kind of style I want. The good thing is, I can still work in this mode. So, I can also put a shadow onto this. So today, let's go and put my building in its real place. So, I'm in Spain. I'm in Madrid. Okay. If I know my longitude and latitude, I can add this to the building. I can select my north. Okay. And now I have my building located in the right place. And then when I switch my shadow, that is where the sun is shining on that building. So while I'm at this mode, I'm going to save this view. Okay, we call views scenes. Okay, so I will add a scene. Okay, it's there. What I'm going to do now is actually change this to the right time. So today is 31. The time is 2:50. That's where my shadow is. Okay, I will save that view. What is my shadow looking like in November? There, and I will add that view. So when I change from views, here's scene 1, scene 2. This is the shadow today, right now, and this is the shadow in November. I can turn it around. Okay, I'll save this view and then find out what the shadow is going to be like in April, that time in the morning, and I will add that view. So now what I've done is I've actually added not a static view, but I've actually moved my building around and viewing from a different angle. That is all kept in the scenes, so you could move from scene to scene. Here is that shadow. Scene 4, I was looking at the back, and scene 5, the shadow is moving. Okay, I can. Let's go back to my normal style. So we have all kinds of different styles that you could choose. Different types of straight edges. You could create your own styles if you wanted to. Okay, so I'm going to choose that style. I can put materials onto these models. Materials are basically, go and take a picture, JPEG, make it a tile, and add it to a color in SketchUp. And then you could apply it to any wall. Okay, so I'm going to apply brickwork. Choose brickwork. Okay. My machine is talking to the internet at the moment, so let's go back to scenes. Styles. Let's go back. Default styles. Okay, so here's my material. Okay. If I'm not happy with the positioning of that material, I can right click and select the position. I can now move that to that edge. I can make that bigger. I can turn it. You could then tell your builder, can you build that for me? Okay. You could use SketchUp to design anything in 3D. Okay. From your garden shed, your garden deck, the building. We have architects and construction industries using this in design and then taking this model and showing it to their clients in Google Earth. You could use pictures to create buildings. So let me save this. Okay. Actually, before I save this, let me show you sections. I can put a section in my building at any place I want. So I'm going to put a section there. I can move that section. Oops. Let's select the section and move that section to any point I want. I can see inside the building. Okay. So I'm going to leave that one there, and I will save the scene for that. Okay. I'm going to turn my model, and I'm going to put another section in. This time it's going to be flat. Okay. I will then select that and position that about there, and I will save that scene. So scene 5, remember the line types for the edges on scene 5. Scene 6, the line types have changed, and now I have a section in there. And scene 7, it's showing the section on that. These scenes, you could now export them out into a movie file, AVI file, sequential image files to take it into other packages, create a multimedia experience, DVDs, whatever. If you have iMovie, it's very easy to save all the images out from the scenes as a PNG file, put them all into iMovie on a Mac or Movie Maker, and create a very nice presentation tool. Okay. So I will save this, and I'll show you how to now use pictures to actually make 3D very simply. Okay. So I will now just add one picture. We call it photo match. So I will choose a photo. So let's see. Okay, here is a simple photo. You see this grid appearing. Okay. We are now going to match the SketchUp environment to the same perspective of that 3D. That picture. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is take my vertical and start at an origin. Okay, I can zoom in and position that more accurately. Okay. Then I take my horizontal axis and start creating where my horizontal is going to be. So I want one point there, the other point approximately there. This one I can bring down and add to that corner, and to that corner. I'll go to this point here now and bring that end there and that one roughly there. This yellow line is actually my horizon based on that photograph. So now I will just add that point and that point. So let's just make sure it's accurate as much as I can. So now I have my environment set to that photograph. I could change the opacity of that photograph to help me work. Okay, so now I will just start drawing in 3D. So let's say done. I will create from that point there across, use that tool, make my block. select all of those, and now I will just copy those to the other positions. Okay. Now I have the 3-dimension. Okay. So if I now select, I'll do this very quickly. If I now select all of those, I can now project all those, that photograph onto that geometry. Okay, so if I was to pan out, you can see that I could very quickly create a 3-dimensional building just from photographs. Okay, you notice on this side there is no textures because the photograph is looking for one side. So what you do, you put the photo from the other end, do exactly the same. You position this in the right place, and then you just project. Very, very quickly, just using standard photographs, you could create 3D. You do not have to really work out how things work. Use it to create the 3D geometry. We could actually import drawings into SketchUp and work from that. You may go to a site and you have your piece of paper and your pencil and you're sketching very quickly. You bring it back into the office, you scan it, and then you can import it as an image. So I will import image on the desktop. Okay. And I can bring it. Here's my image. Okay. If I know a distance, I can scale this up. So I can say from here to here is actually 25 meters. So now I have an image which is roughly 1-to-1 in its size. And then just use it to draw. So I'm going to draw that. Switch on my X-ray mode so I can actually see through that. Okay, let's delete that line. Let's use the offset. Put my wall in. Start creating my 3rd dimension. Let's take the X-ray off. So you can see very quickly use this to create shape. Okay. I can use SketchUp to create terrain if I wanted to. Okay. With terrain, we have a tool called Sandbox. Okay, this is the tool palette. I will show you how simple it is to create terrain on that. So I'm going to use the grid, and the grid spacing is roughly 3 meters at the moment. So let's just create a grid so big. Okay, now it's an object, so I'm working inside that object, and we now have this smooth tool. This has a radius, a diameter of the area that we are going to now start creating the shapes. At the moment, it's roughly 9 meters, so I can select that and start pulling the shape. I can change that to 15 meters, make it bigger. And start creating terrain. But this surface, you can see all these little squares on them. You don't actually want those squares. I can actually select that and use my soften tool. Okay, the soften tool, where's my soften tool? Let's switch all of these off. There you go. My soften tool, what it does, it will, as I move my slider, it will get rid of all the coplanar lines and make it much, much smoother for you. So everything remains in profile. So if I rotate, you see the edge appear. Okay. If I show you that with a bigger site plan, so what we have here is a JPEG of a site. From that, we actually have the 3D terrain that we built using the Sandbox tools. Okay. And we also have the aerial photograph. Okay, it's above each other because that's where it is in space. Okay, so now depending on how I want to present to my client, I can choose my material tool. Okay, I can sample this material and paint it onto that. That's right. Or maybe sample the photograph and paint it onto the train. Okay. If I wanted to now change the path to a different color, okay, I have it on my JPEG. All I've done is traced around the path on this JPEG. I will push it through the train, select the train and tell it to, where is it? Select it all and tell it to intersect with model. So now it's going to find everywhere where those planes cut the terrain. I can then delete the parts that I don't need. See my terrain? Add my material to that. Okay. So we have a very quick, simple way of creating three-dimensional buildings. These buildings that you create can also be shared with the community out there. We have a repository called the 3D Warehouse. Anybody can go into the 3D Warehouse and share models. Okay. So directly from SketchUp. Okay. So if I go back to my house, okay, so let's just open my house here. Go back to scene. Maybe I want to put this building in a real context. I need to put some garden furniture in. I don't want to draw that. Maybe somebody's created that already. So I could go from SketchUp and get models from the 3D Warehouse. So I'm live on the internet at the moment. This is the first page you get when you go into get models. I will do a search. Garden. It's going into the 3D Warehouse. It's finding everything. Did I click on search? Let's do that again. Let's make sure my internet is working. Search for what? Let's make sure that. Okay, the internet's stopped on this. I'll come back to that. Let the internet start. Okay. But what I have now is, how do I put this SketchUp model into Google Earth? Okay. We can export the SketchUp 3D model to KML or Collada. Collada is an open source type of file format that Google Earth can read via the KML language. Or I can actually locate this building correctly in Google Earth and then send it to Google Earth, if you understand that. So let's go to Google Earth. I'm going to go to where we are now. Okay. This is where we are. I think it's that building there. Okay. But we have a nice car park here. We want to put a building on that car park. Okay. My client has just bought that site. So here is my image in SketchUp. Okay. I will save that 3D. Let's just open it up in a new one. This button here will bring Google Earth into SketchUp. So it's gone into SketchUp and it's brought that picture. If you notice, the picture is at an angle because it's worked out where its north and east is. Okay, and it's located according to the SketchUp world. So now I have this nice picture of Google Earth. I can now start building my building in here. So I'm going to put a nice tower block right in the middle of this building. I'm going to make sure my tower block is not traditional. So I can put a curve into this. So this is change that. I'm going to put a nice little stair tower that's going to go there. This is conceptual modeling at the moment. I just want to see what it looks like. Maybe take these edges and put a parapet on that. Okay, so that is my new building that's going to go in that location in Google Earth. And then I can send it back to Google Earth. So, okay, now I have my three-dimensional building in Google Earth. It's actually not in the public Google Earth, it's actually on my machine. Okay. At this point, I can actually save this file as a KML file and send it to my client. He can open up the file from Google Earth and see the building. Okay. I can still make changes to this building while I'm in SketchUp. I've decided that I needed a new entrance. It's going to be round. Okay. I'll just add some materials. It's going to be completely made of brick, this thing. And I'll just send it back. Okay. And it will update. Okay. I can add other data to this. You know, if I went in SketchUp and created a point. Okay, so let's put my marker. I will make it a house shape. Okay. I can type, this is my new building. Okay. I can go and capture some, let's go and capture some HTML if I can. Yes. So, what shall I capture? Let's go to a website. There you go. Okay. View, page source. Select all. Copy. Go back to Google Earth. Actually, let's just paste the whole thing in there. And say OK. So now when I save this file and send it to my client, and he opens it, he can then click on that place mark, and he will get that web page appear in that place mark. So if you're developing a KML file that has got live links to your website with real information, this link will update because it's connecting to your website. So the KML file with the 3D model could be anywhere. Anybody can have that. But the real data about that building is always kept up to date because it's coming from your system. You program the KML file to do that. If you wanted to share this KML file with everybody else in the world, then the way to do that would be in this format to share it in the 3D warehouse. Okay, so I have logged in. I'm going to call this tower block. Tower block in Madrid. Develop per day test. Okay, I can put some search URLs. So let's just say tower, and then I can upload. So now it's taking my model. It's taking my Google Earth image. It knows where the Google Earth image actually is. So when it puts it into the 3D warehouse, it's going to actually geolocate it in the right place. You will see in a moment when it's finished uploading, you will see the 3D model, the Google map with its marker, and in 3D, in Google Earth, if you went in the 3D building section and switched on other buildings, everything that's in the 3D warehouse, which is geolocated, will actually appear in Google Earth. Okay, so let's see if it's actually working. Okay, so go to SketchUp. Let's go to Get Models. Oh, let's look at My Models. There's the tower block. It's in the 3D warehouse. If I select that, there's the image of that. This is where it's located on the map. I can download that model straight into SketchUp, or I can download that model into Google Earth if I wanted. And you notice the sizes are very small. Okay, so these files are transportable. You know, they're not big 5 megabyte 3D models that you find that when you throw it by email, it bounces back to you and so on. So the 3D warehouse is a great place to share community models, share things that are actually happening around your towns. I mean, imagine London 2012, that completely being done in 3D and put into Google Earth. Everybody in the community can actually see what's actually being built. They can take part in that. It helps for people to actually understand what's actually happening around in your environment. You have a bigger say. You could create blogs and so on and talk about it. You can communicate with your own clients. This is what we're trying to do. From the business point of view, you could create, as I said earlier, for a hotel. If you're in the leisure industry and you have a client that's actually doing all hotel locations everywhere, what about having those in 3D so people could actually relate to them, see exactly what it's like before they actually book online, and they could actually use Google Earth via the KML to actually book. Okay. So that is SketchUp, that's Google Earth, that's how we can connect things. This is how we want to have the community create the 3D models and share with everybody and populate a three-dimensional environment that everybody else can actually work and live in. So if you have any questions, any particular things extra you want to see, I'm more than happy to answer those. Sure. Okay. Yes, we have two versions, a professional version and the free version. Everybody could today use the free version. The free version will connect to Google Earth. It will connect to 3D Warehouse. The professional version has a couple of extra features. Namely, you could export out to other products. SketchUp, the professional version of SketchUp is predominantly used in design companies and places like that, where they actually have to design buildings and then take it out and document buildings and build the buildings. And they don't use SketchUp for all the processes. They will use a specific CAD product or specific rendering product, specific project management product. So the professional version of SketchUp will allow you to export out into these different systems. Therefore, you would actually have a continuous data flow. If you look in a traditional architectural office, the designer will have a pencil and he'll be sketching. And when he shows that to a client and the client says, yes, I want you to build it, he has to recreate that in the CAD and then finish it off. With the SketchUp Pro version, you don't have to recreate anything in CAD. You could just export everything out and do that. Okay. Any more? You're all surprised? How many actually are using SketchUp today? Nobody. One, two. How many will actually start using it? Nobody? Okay. I will guarantee you one thing. When you start using SketchUp, you will not put it down. It is very, very addictive. Okay. Even if you're trying to remodel your kitchen, for example, it is very, very addictive to use. Okay. Oh, thank you very much for your time.
beautiful.